been an adjustment for sure, but you know, this year has been so exciting, and it feels really crazy to be on the eve of, you know, my new album Palladium coming out. You know, all of this week I've been in tour rehearsals and getting our show together for our North American tour this fall. And you know, in I think many ways, I feel like I needed a bit of time to take some rest after, you know, so many years of touring and doing a lot. And it just feels good now to be back at it and with an album that I feel so passionate about. And so I'm ready to get back out on the horse and ready for another, you know, year of living out on the road. I'm excited for it. Palladium is probably the, it's the biggest difference, I think, from my past music. And, you know, what's funny is I'm to the point now in my career, I've been doing this now for like 12 years, and I've had so many ups and downs in music. And for this album, I was just solely focused on, okay, what do I want to create? What do I want to make as an artist? And what do I, you know, what my music to be sounding like? And for this album, that was a little bit more alternative. You know, I wanted to, you know, kind of take a step away from pop music in a way, and just do something that felt kind of where I'm at and my age too. You know, I'm 25 years old, and I think this was an important step for me to make something that felt mature and felt honest. And I didn't really, you know, when I was in the studio, I wasn't thinking too much about, okay, what's going to work on playlist, and, you know, what is the label going to be happy with, and all these things. It was really a moment for me to just sort of step into myself as an artist and say, okay, what do you want to do now? You've lasted this long in the industry, so give yourself something with this record. And that's what I did. So we wrote it fairly quickly. It was like 3 or 4 months, and I'm beyond excited for it to be out into the world. So most of the album is pretty thematic and pretty conceptual, and I think Homerun Hitter is probably one of the songs on the album that I think is grounded in the most reality. It's a song about thinking that, you know, I had everything I wanted in a relationship, thinking that I had reached this point where, you know, I was like, okay, for so long, I want a person who's going to check these boxes, and I want to get married one day, and I want to have kids, and I want to do all these things. And it's a bit of a cry, you know, for help, saying, I'm not sure what I want now as an individual. And it was me wrestling with it. So that song is really, really important to me, and it helped me in so many ways. Get through a breakup and kind of realize that it's okay to not know where your life is going and what exactly you want from it. And that song helped me a lot kind of embrace that message. I mean, you know, I think about this all the time, where I'm so fortunate to be around in this time period making music, because I can't imagine having to, you know, hide a part of myself or hide in my identity. You know, as so many musicians have had to do in the past. And so I'm really so lucky to be here. And I'm inspired a lot by, I mean, Brandi Carlile has always been a massive inspiration for me. I'm also madly inspired by the XX and Oliver Sim. They helped, you know, I think influence a lot of this record, and you know, just speaking truth to power within your lyrics. And so there's so many, you know, queer artists and trailblazers out there that I follow, and that I'm just honored to be you know, kind of in the mix with. It's fun too, getting to play festivals and shows and being backstage and realizing how many of us are just queer kids that had big dreams, you know, and here we are making it. So I'm continuously inspired by a lot of different people in the community. When I was in the studio for it, there were just moments where I would just kind of put my phone up and click record on voice memo, and that was one of them. I was on a train to Brighton, and I just thought, like, I, you know, just loved what I was hearing in this voice. You know, everything in the UK is so proper and so nice. And there was, to be completely frank, there was no thought behind it. It was a sonic sort of instinct where I was like, you know, this is super cool. Let's put it in there. Let's see if it can transition well. So I would love to lie to you and tell you that it was a part of this grand plan of, you know, this conceptual idea, but I just really love the recording and I love the sound, and so I put it in my record. Well, it's also, I mean, I love the UK so much, and you know, it's fun for me. I mean, we were just in Europe this summer, and so being able to have a little shout out to London and the UK in general is always nice. You know, it just continues to astonish me. I mean, I get on a plane and you know, I travel these long distances and to land in cities and, you know, have kids and have people that, you know, we maybe speak different languages or we're in, you know, completely different cultures, but they know the music and they can relate to it. It's a dream come true. And, you know, one of the things I think that maybe people realize, maybe they don't, but after doing this for so long, my confidence is always kind of going through an inner battle with itself, right? And what I get from playing live is I get a feeling of purpose and a feeling of, okay, I'm meant to be here, I'm supposed to be here. And that Europe run this past summer, I think it really reignited everything within me to say, no, keep fighting, keep going, you know, it's worth it. You have people here buying tickets, you have people supporting it. So I'm just endlessly thankful to the people that come out to my shows, because I need those shows just as much as they do in the audience, you know. So it was a dream come true to play Europe this summer. Man,
Amazing.
Honestly, just it's going to be so exciting, the whole tour. I am really pumped. I get to play at one of my favorite venues in my hometown in Oklahoma City called Tower Theater. That's going to be a really, really special show. I've played there before, but I've never done a full show there before. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, you know, I can't call out city specific. People will get upset with me. But I'm excited for the whole tour. You know, I think growing up as a gay kid, it was always intrinsically cool to me to try to be punk, right? In any way I could. And I think I remember like summers when I was a kid, people wearing shorts and short sleeves, and I would show up in black jeans and boots and you know, like a rock tee. And that was just like that was my uniform for so long. And it's a sense of confidence I think I get from it, but it's just this overarching, you know, dream and desire to be as much of a rock star as I can. And so when I'm wearing all black and my fingers are decked out in rings and jewelry and stuff, I feel important, I feel cool. So I think that's why I resonate so much with that type of style. Yeah, it's funny that you bring up Robin, because I mean, that was a big inspiration. And you know, I think what I'm proud of is when I look back kind of at the music that I've been making the past few years, I think a lot of people, especially once this album comes out, I think they could poke at it a bit and they could say, you know, maybe it was inconsistent. You know, you had some big pop records and then you had more acoustic things and had more folk inspiration and all these different kind of avenues. That's how I am as an artist. I walk into the studio and I'm not putting myself in a box anymore of this is the only type of record and only type of music you can make. You know, and that song was, I wanted a clean cut pop song that felt genuine and that I could dance to and have a good time to. And so that's why I did it. And it's funny, like once you break that song down to just the piano and just the vocal, it actually fits in very well with my upcoming music. But I chose the production because that's what I was feeling that day and then that period of writing. And so, yeah, that's my little kind of tribute, I think, to that side of myself. And I kind of hate being old, to be honest.
You're not old yet.
I know. I turned 25 this year and it was kind of a reckoning. But I mean, yeah, to be completely honest with you, I think getting older has been weird for me, and it's been interesting. It's because I was always the youngest person in the room. When I go to studios now and I'm, you know, surrounded by 20-year-old, 21-year-olds, it feels a little odd to me. And I actually wrote about that on this record of how, you know, my expectation of what I wanted to be when I was older, had I reached it, you know, what were my shortcomings, all those things. So I like my house, I love it so much, but it feels weird to still feel so, like I still feel like the underdog kind of kid, 17 years old, trying to like bang on record label doors, being like, listen to me, I have something to say. I still feel like that. So it's strange sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, okay, it's different now, you know? I'm in a good place, and it took me so many years to feel enough strength in my inner voice to walk into a studio and say, this is what I want. And I'm truly at this point now, like, you know, I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed to still be doing this for a living and for a career. What I want to do now in my next chapter, I think, is help the artists that are younger, in the sort of similar positions that I was, you know, coming up in music. I want to reach out to those kids and kind of let them know that they can have that voice and they can achieve it. And I want to help out in that way. But every day that I get to wake up and think about music, if that's my job, that's an A+ life and an A+ day for me, because this was the dream all along, like, is to just be able to survive in this industry and to keep on making music. So I feel good, but it took me a long time to get there, and a lot of ups and downs in this industry to get there. I think I'm most excited to surprise people with this album, and I do think it will be a big surprise. And I'm looking forward to this. I put so much into the lyrics of this record, and so I'm looking forward to people, I think, taking what I've talked about and taking these stories on this record and applying them to their own life. That's always been my goal and dream as a songwriter, and I think I hopefully have given people a lot to think about within the words of this album, and so I'm excited for people to take this music and apply it to themselves and to their own. The last song on the album is always such an important slot for me, of, you know, how do you end something after you've brought people along on this journey? And it's a song called The Balcony Song, and I think it's my favorite thing I've ever done as an artist. And so I'm excited for people to hear that. Just say thank you all, and thanks to you for supporting and being here for so many years. And I would tell everyone out there, there's importance and there's strength in continuing on. So keep on going. No matter what you're doing in your life, just keep going. That's what I've been doing the past 12 years, and I have no intentions of stopping.